Hey, fifth grade, we're picking back up again today with Augie and me. 3 wonder stories, and I'm going to read the last page of what we read last time, and that way that'll just give you a little reference as to where we're starting today. Okay. You guys rock, he said, so relax, wait here a bit, and Mrs. Garcia will come and get you in a few minutes. He opened the door, and guys, really, thanks again for doing this. It's good karma to do good. It's a mitzvah, you know. With that, he smiled, winked at us, and left the room. All 3 of us exhaled at the same time. We looked at each other, our eyes kind of wide. Okay, Jack said, I don't know what the heck karma is, and I don't know what the heck mitzvah is. This made us laugh a little, though it was kind of a nervous type of laugh. Hold up, kids, I gotta turn the light. Sally's eyes are old. She's got to have more light. Okay, first look. I'm not going to go into detail about the rest of what happened that day. I'm just going to point out that for the first time in his life, Jack had not exaggerated. In fact, he had done the opposite. Is there a word that means the opposite of exaggerated? Unexaggerated? I don't know. But Jack had totally not exaggerated about this kid's face. The first look I got of August, well, it made me want to cover my eyes and run away screaming, bam. I know that sounds mean, and I'm sorry about that, but it's the truth. And anyway, who says that that's not their first reaction when seeing Augie Pullman? Isn't being honest. Seriously. I totally would have walked out the door after I saw him, but I knew I would get in trouble if I did. So I just kept looking at Mr. Tushman. And I tried to listen to what he was saying, but all I heard was yak, 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 because my ears were burning. In my head, I was like, dude. I think I said that word 1,000 times to myself. I don't know why. At some point, he introduced us to Augie. I think I actually shook his hand. Triple. I wanted to zoom out of there so fast and wash my hand, but before I knew what was happening, we were headed out the door, down the hallway, and up the stairs. Dude. I caught Jack's eyes. We were going upstairs to homeroom. I opened my eyes really wide at him and mouthed the words, no way. Jack mouthed back, I told you. Scared. When I was about 5, I remember watching an episode of SpongeBob one night, and a commercial came on TV that totally freaked me out. It was a few days before Halloween. A lot of commercials came on during that time of the year that were kind of scary, but this one was for a new teen thriller I'd never heard about before. Suddenly, while I was watching the commercial, a close-up of a zombie's face popped up on the screen. Well, it totally and completely terrified me. Terrified me. Like the kind of terrified when you actually run out of the room screaming with your arms in the air. Terrified. After that, I was so scared of seeing that zombie face again, I stopped watching any TV until Halloween was over and the movie was no longer playing in theaters. Seriously, I stopped watching TV completely. That's how scared I was. Not too long after that, I was on a play date with some kid whose name I don't even remember, and this kid was really into Harry Potter, so we started watching one of the Harry Potter movies. I'd never seen any of them before. Well, when I saw Voldemort's face for the first time, the same thing happened that had happened when the Halloween commercial came on. I started screaming hysterically, wailing like a total baby. It was so bad. The kid's mother couldn't calm me down, and she had to call my mother to come pick me up. My mom got really annoyed at the kid's mom for letting me watch the movie, so they ended up getting into an argument, and, long story short, I never had another play date there again. But anyway, between the Halloween zombie commercial and Voldemort's noseless face, I was kind of a mess. Then, unfortunately, my dad took me to the movies at around the same time. Again, I was only about 5, maybe 6 by now. It shouldn't have been an issue. The movie we went to see was rated G. Totally fine, not scary at all. But one of the trailers that came out was for Scary Fairy, a movie about demon fairies. I know fairies are so lame. And when I look back, I can't believe I was so scared of this stuff, but I freaked out at this trailer. My dad had to take me out of the movie theater because, yet again, I couldn't stop crying. It was so embarrassing. Being scared of fairies. What's next? Flying ponies? Cabbage Patch dolls? Snowflakes? It was crazy. But there I was, shaking and screaming as I left the movie theater, hiding my face in my dad's coat. I'm sure there were 3-year-olds in the audience who were looking at me like I was the biggest loser. That's the thing about being scared, though. You can't control it. When you're scared, you're scared. And when you're scared, everything seems scarier than it ordinarily would be, even things that aren't. Everything that scares you kind of mushes together to become this big, terrifying feeling. It's like you're covered in this blanket of fear, and this blanket is made out of broken glass and dog poop and oozy pus and bloody zombie zits. Oh, that's also gross. I started having awful nightmares. Every night I'd wake up screaming. It got to a point where I was afraid to go to sleep because I didn't want to have another nightmare. So then I started sleeping in my parents' bed. I wish I could say this was just for a couple of nights, but it went like this for 6 weeks. I wouldn't let them turn off the lights. I had a panic attack every time I started drifting off to sleep. I mean, my palms would literally start to sweat. My heart would start to race, and I'd start to cry and scream before going to bed. My parents took me to see a feelings doctor, which I only later realized was a child psychologist. Dr. Patel helped me a little bit. She said what I was experiencing were night terrors, and it did help me to talk about them with her. But I think what really got me over the nightmares were the Discovery Channel nature videos my mom brought home for me one day. Woohoo for those nature videos. Every night we'd pop one of them into the DVD player and I'd fall asleep to the sound of some guy with an English accent talking about meerkats or koalas or jellyfish. Eventually I did get over the nightmares though. Everything went back to normal, but every once in a while I'd have what Mom would call a minor setback. Like, for instance, although I love Star Wars now, the first time I saw Star Wars Episode 2, which was at a birthday sleepover when I was 8, I had to text my mom to come get me at 2 a.m. because I couldn't fall asleep. Every time I'd close my eyes, Darth Sidious's face would pop into my head. It took about 3 weeks of nature videos to get over that setback, and I stopped going to sleepovers for about a year after that, too. Then, when I was 9, I saw Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, for the first time, and the same thing happened to me again, though this time it only took me about a week to get over Gollum. By the time I turned 10, though, all those nightmares had pretty much gone away. Even the fear of having a nightmare was gone by then, too. Like, if I was at Henry's house and he would say, "Hey, let's watch a scary movie," my first reaction wasn't to think, "No, I might have a nightmare," which is what it used to be. My first reaction would be like, "Yeah, cool. Where's the popcorn?" I finally started being able to see all kinds of movies again. I even started getting into zombie apocalypse stuff, and none of it even bothered me. That nightmare stuff was all behind me, or at least I thought it was. But then, the night after I met Augie Pullman, I started having nightmares again. I couldn't believe it. Not just passing bad dreams, but the full-blown, heart-pounding, wake-up screaming kind of nightmares I used to have when I was a little kid. Only I wasn't a little kid anymore. I was in the 5th grade, 11 years old. This wasn't supposed to be happening to me anymore, but there I was again, watching nature videos to help me fall asleep. Okay, kiddos, we're going to stop there and pick back up again next week. Miss you guys. I hope that you're well. Know that I'm thinking about you and that I love you. Keep reading.